You're watching News Today. I'm Preeti Choudhry. Our top focus. Well, the winter session in Parliament is done. So who won, the opposition or the incumbent, the government? Well, we do know who the loser is because it's taxpayers like you and I. Every washed out minute in Parliament cost us 2.5 lakh rupees. Just do the math there. On the other hand, the opposition, which started off on Adani, found a rallying point when it came down to Ambedkar. Split on Adani, united on Ambedkar. And the BJP, has it been succeeding in damage control? Well, all of that coming up over the course of the next 45 minutes. Allow me to take you through the headlines. FIR against Rahul Gandhi and Congress, complaint to be probed by crime branch. Day after ugly Parliament scuffle, MPs continue their protest in Sansad. BJP MP gives 1984 bag to Priyanka with inscription blood-soaked 1984. All of this after row over Bangladesh and Palestine bags being carried by Priyanka Gandhi. RSS Chief Mohan Bhagwat's big message of harmony says stop raising fresh Ram Mandir-like disputes every day. Opposition welcomes remark. BJP MLC C.T. Ravi arrested for allegedly calling a Karnataka minister a prostitute. Granted bail in less than 24 hours. Minister Lakshmi Hebbalkar accuses Ravi of sexual harassment. KTR gets protection from arrest till December 30th in Formula E race deal probe. BRS leader calls it Congress bid to divert attention from its own failures. Week after shrine reopens, ASI conducts a discreet survey of Sambhal temple. 19 wells and 5 other pilgrimage sites also studied. 11 dead, several critical in massive Jaipur fire as 2 trucks collide outside a petrol pump. Over 40 vehicles also gutted. India lodges protest over comments by Muhammad Yunus's aide, who said India should acknowledge the uprising that led to the resignation of Sheikh Hasina. 5-time Haryana Chief Minister, INLD Chief Om Prakash Chautala dies at 89. Leaders across political spectrum pay tribute. All right, viewers, the winter session in Parliament ended today with the Ambedkar firestorm triggering a near-total lockdown in the Parliament for the last 4 days. While Amit Shah's Sansad remarks gave an otherwise divided opposition a common cause, the divide between the BJP and the Congress hardens with charges of assault inside the Parliament. Here's what went down on the final day of Parliament winter session.
Another day of protests in Parliament. Opposition India bloc MPs walked from Vijay Chowk to Parliament on Friday, demanding Home Minister Amit Shah's resignation over his remarks on Baba Saheb Ambedkar. The BJP MPs, on the other hand, demanded action against Rahul Gandhi for the scuffle outside Parliament that left 2 party lawmakers injured. The police have registered an FIR against the leader of opposition under 5 sections of the BNS, including causing grievous hurt, criminal intimidation, endangering life and personal safety. BJP MP Nishikant Dubey has moved privilege motion against Rahul Gandhi and sought his suspension from the Lok Sabha.
लोक सभा में राहुल गांधी जी के खिलाफ इसलिए मूव किया कि उन्होंने अमित शाह जी का भाषण का 12 सेकंड का क्लिप्स उठा करके जो झूठ फैलाया उसके खिलाफ प्रिविलेज नोटिस दिया.
The Congress has called the police case an attempt at distraction by the Narendra Modi government. The party also questioned the police inaction on the complaint filed by its MPs on the scuffle.
कितने डेस्परेट हो गए हैं कि आज ऐसे एकदम झूठी बातें, झूठा FIR. राहुल जी कभी किसी को पुश नहीं करेंगे. मैं उनकी बहन हूँ, इतने सालों से मैं जानती हूँ, कभी इस तरह की हरकत कभी कर ही नहीं सकते. अडानी पे चर्चा नहीं चाहते और जो इन्होंने किया है अम्बेडकर जी के साथ, जिस तरह से अपमान किया है, ये जानते हैं कि ये देश नहीं सहेगा ये अपमान, इसीलिए ये सब डिस्ट्रैक्शन है, बस यही है।
A day after the ugly scenes at the Makardwar, Lok Sabha Speaker Om Birla warned against blockade of the entrance.
संसद भवन परिसर में किसी भी द्वार पर किसी भी तरह का धरना प्रदर्शन करना उचित नहीं है। मैं पुनः आग्रह करता हूं, इसको गंभीरता से लें और किसी भी स्थिति के अंदर द्वार पर और परिसर पर प्रदर्शन न करें, नहीं तो संसद को उचित कार्रवाई करनी पड़ेगी।
The winter session, which started with Congress uproar over indictment of Gautam Adani in the US and the BJP's counter-attack linking the Gandhis to George Soros, has now ended with the controversy over Ambedkar. The India Alliance, which was split wide open over the Adani issue, by the end of the session joined hands to corner the government, demanding Shah's resignation for his remarks that were allegedly an insult to Ambedkar.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी की चाल हम आपको सबको समझना पड़ेगा। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के लोग सबसे पहले अनकॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल काम करते हैं, अन्याय करते हैं। जब आप उनके पक्ष में खड़े होते हैं, जिनके साथ अन्याय हुआ है, तो आप पर झूठे मुकदमे लगाते हैं। ये पहली बार नहीं हो रहा है।
The BJP, which entered the winter session brimming with confidence after the spectacular victory in the Maharashtra Assembly elections, held its own for most part of the meet, but now finds itself at the receiving end of attacks by a united opposition just ahead of the elections in Delhi. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so the big question that we asked this Friday evening, who gained, who lost out in Parliament? Well, we do know it is the taxpayer who lost out with 2.5 lakh rupees being washed out every moment Parliament was not in session and the parliamentarians was hardly in session. The opposition was split on Adani. Mind you, what we constantly spoke of in the earlier days of the winter session where the Congress went with the Adani issue in Parliament, the opposition was fragmented. But what united the opposition was Ambedkar. Have they found, the opposition, has it found a rallying point? Is BJP's damage control working? Let's take those questions to our panelists this evening. Joining me, Ghanshyam Tiwari, Samajwadi Party spokesperson, Brajendra Singh, Congress MP, Sanju Verma, BJP national spokesperson, Amitabh Tiwari, political strategist. Let's begin with the Congress spokesperson, Brajendra Singh. Brajendra Singh, you know, what should have been the language usually of Parliament is dialogue, it's of debate. What we saw were abuses and a scuffle, and that is how the winter session ended. Quite befitting, Brajendra Singh, of what it really was, because it was a washout in every term. How would you, a parliamentarian yourself, Brajendra Singh, rate the winter session, and who do you hold responsible for its complete washout?
Thank you for having me over. First of all, let me convey my condolences on the sad demise of Shri Om Prakash Chautala, 5-time Chief Minister of Haryana and a very towering political personality. To answer your question, let me just say that this has been a session where the treasury benches or the government or the ruling party has indulged in multiple orchestrated distractions. I mean, that's been their style. Adani issue, they didn't want to be addressed in the parliament in spite of the indictment in the US court. They didn't want it. So they brought up Soros. And what really took it to ridiculous extremes was when in the Rajya Sabha, Mr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi's mention was made that, you know, a certain wad of 500 rupee notes was found on his desk, and it was stated from the chair, which was very, very unfortunate. And ever since it's been going on like that. Defamatory press conferences were kind of addressed by senior functionaries of the BJP and the government to defame Mr. Rahul Gandhi. And finally, we came to a situation where some kind of scuffle is supposed to have happened at the Makardwar, where apparently some members of parliament have got injured also. The whole exercise, if you look at the chronology of it, just seems that they did not want to address the real issues. They did not want to address the issues of the farmers. They did not want to address the issues of Mr. Adani, his indictment in the US court. They did not want to address the issue of Sambal and all those multiple court interventions which were happening regarding the religious places of worship. And thereafter, on the Ambedkar issue, which the BJP just didn't know how to handle, and kind of found itself totally on the wrong foot, whereas what it required was a simple apology. So it's been a series of
so may I ask you one question before allow me to ask you one question before I go to Sanju Verma. So you're saying in all of this, the opposition has come out smelling of roses?
No. It's not about who won, who lost, who gained, who did not gain. It's the parliament. It's the highest body, and people look up to it. It's their representatives who are there. They want issues to be put on the table, and it's very unfortunate the entire winter session.
It's unfortunate, sir. But the fact is, the opposition needs to bear equal responsibility of being at an utter washout, and I would reckon with what went down yesterday, it's the most embarrassing for any Indian citizen to watch. We've become a laughing stock, unprecedented scenes. Like I said, a place which is supposed to be sacred, where language needs to be dialogue, it needs to be debate. The language became a scuffle and crude, abusive language on top of it.
No, and absolutely.
Right. So therefore, Mr. Singh, the blame needs to be borne by both the opposition and the government, because it's not solely the responsibility of the government that the parliament functions properly. Sanju Verma, on the contrary, it's also not the sole responsibility of the opposition that the parliament functioned. The opposition tried very hard, they say, to make some headway, some kind of communication. What we saw was complete communication breakdown. Possibly, the government should have stepped in, been the bigger brother.
Okay. Preeti, I heard, the Congress panelists very intently. First and foremost, I would like to start with, 2 lines in Hindi. अच्छे समय का अहंकार ही बुरे समय को निमंत्रण देता है. Why did I say this? Because the Congress is so used to being in power, having ruled India for more than 5.5 decades, that they feel they're entitled to continue to be in office, be in government, be in power. They just can't digest the fact that under the aegis of Rahul Gandhi, 3 Lok Sabha elections were lost by the Congress party, one after the other, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi is the only leader in 62 years to come back romping home to power for the 3rd time in a row. पहली बात तो ये है, but digest आपको करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि as Amit Shah said, अगले 15 साल तक the opposition will continue to sit in the opposition benches, not in the treasury benches. Now let me come to the moot point. Yes, taxpayers have lost 2.5 lakh rupees every minute, 1.5 crore rupees every hour. And if we roughly calculate that 100 hours were lost, that means 150 crores went down the tube. But I say the government did an excellent job, and I would like to completely put the entire blame on the shoulders of a debilitated opposition. And why? Look at the audacity, look at the hilarity of it. They wanted to bring out a no confidence motion against the Rajya Sabha chair, which they did. And guess what? One of the reasons they failed was because they did not even get his spelling right. DHANKHAR, Jagdeep Dhankar. ये है उनका spelling. आपको तो spelling तक नहीं मालूम. Now let me come to the moot point. Let's go beyond the semantics. I think this parliament session will be historic. I don't know about you, Preeti. I'm an economist. I don't claim to be a historian, but I'm very well read. But even somebody as well read as me, I did not know that Pandit Nehru actually, after the demise of Baba Saheb Ambedkar in 1956, called him a controversial figure, called him a traitor, refused to attend his funeral. I was not aware that Nehru even wrote to chief ministers at that time asking them not to attend the funeral of Sardar Patel, including asking the then President Rajendra Prasad to not attend Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel's funeral. I was not aware that Nehru thought nothing about Bhagat Singh, and Nehru had utter disdain for the likes of Veer Savarkar. I think it is very important for us to have debates on important issues, and if Priyanka Vadra feels that the BJP is obsessed with Nehru, obsessed nahi hai. आपको आपका इतिहास याद दिलाएंगे, आपको आईना दिखाएंगे, ताकि आपने जो इतिहास में गलतियां की है वो दोहराई ना जाए.
Sanju Verma, maybe it's also been historic because the number of times the legacy of Nehru was brought up has never been brought up so many times in this particular session, but primarily it was brought up, viewers, because 75 years of the Indian Constitution were being discussed. It should have been a moment of glorifying the Indian Constitution, glorifying Baba Saheb Ambedkar. But sadly, also, Baba Saheb Ambedkar serves politics better when he's dead than he was alive, because, yes, there have been multiple instances where the Congress has belittled Baba Saheb Ambedkar. The BJP was non-existent there. The fountainhead on which the BJP is based on, RSS did exactly the same. But I want to bring in our other panelists into this debate. I have with me Ghanshyam Tiwari, Samajwadi Party spokesperson. Ghanshyam Tiwari, when it came down to the issue of Adani, we saw Samajwadi Party stand a fair distance away from the Congress, to the extent that many of your Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha MPs came out and publicly said Adani is not an issue. Talk about Sambhal. Talk about there are other issues that need to be dealt with. Lo behold, the issue of Baba Saheb Ambedkar comes in at the back of the speech made by Amit Shah, and suddenly you find yourself all united. You do understand that many would deem it as nothing else but pure political reasoning.
Good evening, Preeti, to you, my fellow co-panelists and the viewers. If I were to set headlines for what happened in the parliament, here are the headlines. Prime Minister of India, of the largest democracy in the world, showed no courage in the parliament to appear as the leader of the house. His abysmal attendance and participation are testimony of that. Home Minister of India accused of conspiring to derail parliament after nationwide protests on distasteful remark on Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. BJP ruling party went out of the way to derail the parliament session. As Adani indicted, ministers and MPs of BJP went out on a limb to defend Adani. Members of parliament across party lines broke ranks and accused that Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister and his administration conspired in Sambhal and are responsible for murder of 5 people. Not one BJP MP opposed that as if they wanted to wear that as a badge of honor. And Modi refuses to visit Manipur, refuses to take any responsibility for Manipur. This is the broad headlines. And finally, very laughable.
Ma'am, we'll all get our chances. You allow him as well.
Very laughable headline will be that this party, the absolute defender of EVMs, decided to pursue one nation, one election in Lok Sabha. Not only did it fail in its overall plan, but the voting for one nation, one election was held on a parchi, not on the machines. So clearly, these are the set of headlines. You are right that Samajwadi Party broke ranks, but the Sansad is the panchayat of 140 crore people. There are many issues. If we can see that the Prime Minister is not ready to face the Parliament as the leader of the House on the Adani matter, we would want him to face the Parliament on Sambhal matter, because he is not accused in Sambhal, even though his party is... It is Rajasthan who's...
All right, I want to bring in... Ghanshyam Tiwari, allow me to now bring in Amitabh Tiwari into this conversation, political strategist, because, one thing, Amitabh Tiwari and Sanju Verma, the headline you keep talking about, you call it being historic. I would reckon just the headline of it all was what happened yesterday in Parliament. Until now, we still don't know what really happened because there is no CCTV evidence, and which is in a way mind-boggling that how can one of the main gates of the Indian Parliament not have high-definition cameras, because they do. And if they do, why isn't the CCTV images of what really went down be made public? For once and for all, we will know exactly what went down. But that away from it all, Amitabh Tiwari, what started off in the winter session was a very fragmented, a very divided with opposition. Every possible fault line that existed in the opposition was exposed at the back of the Maharashtra elections running into the winter session. But something turned for the opposition. Suddenly, they found the rallying cause behind Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Do you reckon that the opposition, which looked all over the place right before getting into the winter session, has exited the winter session at least with a common agenda, which is Baba Saheb Ambedkar? There might be an attempt to revive the 2024 Lok Sabha narrative, but electorally, it will fall short of nothing more but the Delhi elections.
Yeah, so essentially the chinks in the armor of the opposition were clearly visible when Samajwadi Party and the TMC were not backing the Congress Party on the Adani issue. Then there was also a lot of discussion on how Mamata Banerjee should be leading the India bloc and not the Congress, the Mallikarjun Kharge or Rahul Gandhi. So there was a lot of discussion also happening about the leadership of India bloc, whether it should lie with the Congress party or some regional party should take over. But then two things happened. One is this One Nation, One Election bill was introduced, which also rallied the opposition to some extent. And of course, the statement of Home Minister Amit Shah, which also rallied the opposition because they thought of it as a rallying point and also as a point to revive the politics which they have been able to successfully plan out in the Lok Sabha elections. In the Lok Sabha elections, the Dalit support for NDA or BJP declined by 3% and 5% respectively, whereas for the India bloc, it had increased by 7%. BJP recovered that lost ground in Haryana and Maharashtra amongst the Dalits. Their vote share went up significantly, 15 to 16% in Haryana. But now BJP also does not want to squander away this advantage, and that's why we see that Ambedkar or the politics or the Dalit politics has become fairly relevant because there is a significant churn which is happening in Dalit politics, we can discuss ahead. But yes, the opposition has got a point, and this has rallied the opposition, which was looking in tatters, and most of the parties were moving in different directions during the winter session.
Well, you're bang on, because one thing right now is very clear, viewers, especially coming back at the Lok Sabha 2024 and what we witnessed in the last couple of months, ending with the Parliament session. There is no politics in India without Baba Saheb Ambedkar being at the center of it. Brajendra Singh, I want to bring you back into this conversation. With all that you saw in Parliament over the winter session, Brajendra Singh, you're a member of the Lok Sabha. It started off with Adani, it went on to the deep state, George Soros, it came down to the constitution debate. You would have thought that you could have cornered the Bharatiya Janata Party as well as the NDA on the issue of constitution. It seemingly backfired, Brajendra Singh. Would you reckon, especially where, if you're talking about 75 years of the constitution, you're going to bring in history. And fortunately, unfortunately, over 55 years of that history is defined by the Congress party.
Preeti ji, I agree with you. And what could be more ironical than the fact that when the discussion on Samvidhan is going on, when Samvidhan Divas, its 75th anniversary is being celebrated, what we have is introduction of one nation, one election, which goes against every democratic and constitutional tenet. And therein comes Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru and Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar. These are the two personalities BJP has not been able to appropriate and will never be able to, and nor the other stalwarts of the Indian national movement. These were all towering personalities. वो अंग्रेजी में कहावत है ना कि great minds think alike and fools seldom differ. That's where it comes in. BJP has this habit of picking up pieces from here and there and saying there were differences between Gandhi and Nehru, there were differences between Sardar Patel and Nehru, there were differences between Gandhi and Subhash Chandra Bose, so on and so forth. They keep coming up with these little nuggets every now and then, but it doesn't wash. What was the most critical moment when India got independence? The critical moment was the Constituent Assembly and the drafting of the Constitution. Who did the Indian National Congress support as chairman of the drafting committee? Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the most defining moment of our last 75 years. And they talk about things which really don't matter. Anyway, leave that aside. Coming to disruption in the parliament, Preeti ji, you used the word mind-boggling. That, no CCTV footage has emerged so far. Leave aside the CCTV footage. That is in the domain of the parliament, the speaker, or whatever. What about the media? There's so much media present at that point. Not a single video has emerged. So what does
it's all well and good. No, Brajendra Singh, it's all well and good to blame the media. It all happened at the Makradwar. Most cameras, sir, I'll tell you what. I'll just tell you what. Most cameras are not. I'll tell you why. Because possibly it's a question that our viewers might have. So where the Makra, and so you're a parliamentarian. You're in parliament. You yourself know we are not allowed to take cameras up to the Makradwar. So at the best, videos were shot through phones, sir.
All the members of parliament are carrying their mobiles.
Okay.
So
what stops?
something should have come out from
Vijendra
somewhere.
Singh, what stops from a Congress Lok Sabha MP who could have taken that video to release that video? All I'm just saying, coming back to it, sir, ultimately two things have come out of this winter session. Number one, there had to be CCTV cameras. Where is the footage? Show it to us. Number two, the way our parliamentarians have behaved like school children, going after each other, abusing, getting into a scuffle. It's time to go back to what the days were where there was a designated spot to protest. Earlier on, it was the Gandhi Murti. It's not there anymore. Now, it's for the speaker to decide where a designated spot of protest can be made. Sanju Verma, I want to bring you in on this because a lot happened. Many would suggest you had the front foot or you were more aggressive when it came down to the 75 years of constitution debate. And then one debate turned the tables. One can say that the Home Minister said absolutely nothing wrong. But I've also spoken, Sanju Verma, because such is politics, to a very senior leader from the BJP, and off record he tells me, dekhiye, ho sakta hai ye self-goal ho jaye. You have two privilege motions moved against Mr. Amit Shah. You have a constant now rhetoric for his resignation. It is going to snowball into multiple yatras in various states. Do you see this as a self-goal or not, Sanju Verma?
Preeti, I'm glad you asked me this question without beating around the bush. Before Haryana elections, everybody said, "Arey BJP ki to haar nishchit hai." They are engaging in one self-goal after the other. On the eve of Maharashtra elections, nobody gave us even a fig leaf of a chance, saying BJP will be wiped out. Maharashtra mein kai self-goal kar diye. And what is the result? Opposition has got a strike rate of 15%. BJP a strike rate of 89%. So let's not even go there and talk about self-goals. I repeat, as the national spokesperson of the BJP, on record, I'm not used to giving off-record statements. I want to be held accountable for on-record statements. Amit Shah ji did not say anything wrong. He was misquoted. His statements were taken out of context by a vanquished opposition. But I will come to the moot issue, Preeti. I will tell you what this winter session achieved. For the ordinary citizen, he or she could see the charade by the Congress party. आप संविधान की दुहाई देते हैं, अडानी 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 बोलते हैं. Adani has been indicted by a US court. Yes, Adani has been indicted, but please go and check Oxford Dictionary. Indicted does not mean you're innocent. Indicted does not mean you're guilty. It simply means that you have been formally charged. If indicted means guilty, then Sonia Gandhi is indicted in National Herald scam. Is she guilty? Rahul Gandhi is indicted in National Herald scam. Is he guilty? P. Chidambaram is indicted in INX media scam. Is he guilty? Arvind Kejriwal is indicted in Delhi liquor scam. Is he guilty? Vaibhav Gehlot, Ashok Gehlot's son is indicted in Rajasthan recruitment board scam. Is he guilty? Tejasvi Yadav is indicted in cash for job scam. Is he guilty? Abhishek Banerjee is indicted in cash for job scam in West Bengal. Is he guilty? Akhilesh Yadav is indicted in the mining scam for which a CBI inquiry is going on. Is he guilty? If they are not guilty, why is Adani guilty? Last 10 seconds.
But Sanju Verma.
Last 10 seconds, please.
No.
Please, last 10 seconds.
Take those 10 seconds, but answer one question. Many would say you're bang on. But it would have made sense if you were defending a BJP leader. Why go into so much trouble of defending a business tycoon and Mr. Adani?
Please. Preeti, my dear friend, I don't know if I can say that because we've had many powwows on screen, but I have tremendous respect for you. I could preempt this, Preeti. I could preempt this. I'll tell you why. Because I've been doing a zillion debates और हर बार कहा जाता है, पूछा जाता है मुझे, Sanju Verma, are you a spokesperson for Gautam Adani? I would like to turn around and ask Rahul Gandhi, are you a spokesperson for Nathan Anderson, the much discredited short seller? Are you a spokesperson for Kingdom Capital, the much discredited short seller? Are you a spokesperson for Hindenburg Research, the much discredited short seller? And are you a spokesperson for George Soros, whose vice president Salil Shetty was shoulder to shoulder with you during the Bharat Jodo Yatra? Salil Shetty was shoulder to shoulder with Rahul Gandhi during the Bharat Jodo Yatra.
I want to bring it.
Is Rahul Gandhi a proxy for George Soros in India? Is Rahul Gandhi a proxy for George Soros?
But Sanju Verma, I'm going to circle back to you on this. I'm going to circle back to you. All the points taken. But even then, why defend a business tycoon? That's all I'm saying. But I'm going to come back. Ma'am, I'll come back to you. Hold on.
Defend business tycoon as long as he is providing jobs within the
Ma'am, I will come right
back. As long as he's adding to GDP.
I'll come right back. Allow me to go to the next panelist. I want to bring in Ghanshyam Tiwari into this conversation. Ghanshyam Tiwari, you know, it's often said, and very rightly so, that in politics, timing is everything. Maybe one would suggest you've got the timing right, most importantly, of uniting what was an opposition in disarray. You've got that. With what has gone down after Amit Shah's speech, where Baba Sahib Ambedkar is questioned. The question is, how are you going to politically milk it? Uttar Pradesh elections, where it mattered in 2024, it was counted for. Your elections are still 2 years away. What now? How do you take this forward politically?
Two things, Preeti. As your viewers will notice in this debate, I said the Prime Minister did not show courage in the Parliament. BJP did not defend it. I said members of Parliament across party lines accused Adityanath and his government of murder and conspiracy Sambhal. BJP did not defend it. I mentioned half a sentence on Adani, and BJP spokesperson spent half of the debate on Adani. So this is the mindset of Bharatiya Janata Party. Coming to your question, what Amit Shah said is there in the mindset of Manusmriti, is there in the mindset of RSS, as they called Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar as Lilliput when Hindu Code Bill was introduced, that जो अमित शाह said, अम्बेडकर कह रहे हो, इतना नाम भगवान का लेते तो स्वर्ग चले जाते. The intent is to communicate that अम्बेडकर कहने वाले लोग नरक जाएंगे और जो भगवान कह रहे हैं वो स्वर्ग जाएंगे.
You know, but okay, Ghanshyam Tiwari, let's not get into intentions. You know, let's just keep it for what it is. I'll tell you why. Sir, I'll tell you. You know, humbly, allow me to say this. Because when BJP, where you come and say that the BJP has misquoted us, or they are saying we never said it, but how can we intend to say it? Best to keep it for what it is. This is what the Home Minister said. And
I'm answering.
Yeah.
I'm answering your question that where do we go from here?
Okay, fine. Go ahead.
Where we go from here is that telling people that this is what BJP believes in. BJP believes, their leaders believe, the founders who wanted Manusmriti instead of constitution believe that Ambedkar कहने वाले लोग स्वर्ग नहीं जाते. This is there in their ethos. Second point, why is the Ambedkar agenda important? This is the agenda of socialism. BJP in the debate on constitution opposed the word secular and socialism time and again. They oppose socialism because socialism is the way by which those who are Dalits, who are backwards, who are the minorities, the women, those who are disenfranchised by this capitalist alliance of BJP will be empowered. It is AI that could be the agenda of the world for future. But the agenda for India is to empower the 80 crore people that Prime Minister boastfully gives free ration to.
So how are you going to take it to the people? Are you planning? Okay, fine. You know, because it's in the works is what we hear, some kind of yatra in Uttar Pradesh. But I would reckon Ghanshyam Tiwari would not want to speak about it right now. Amitabh Tiwari, I want to bring you in because, like I said, the importance of the Dalit vote is something I would reckon both sides of the divide understood very well in Lok Sabha 2024. Uttar Pradesh results were a prime example of that, Amitabh Tiwari. But the question that I'd ask Ghanshyam Tiwari, politics, timing is everything. Where does the opposition take this from here? Because at the best, what you have staring at you is the Delhi election. And if there is going to be a meal made out of it, Arvind Kejriwal of the Aam Aadmi Party is already doing it.
Yeah, so essentially, if you see over the past 10-15 years, what has happened is that BJP's support amongst the Dalits has more than doubled, from 12% in 2009 to 31% in 2024. Some have joined the bandwagon due to them being the beneficiary of various schemes, and some due to the overarching umbrella of Hindutva. Now, there's a churn which is happening in Dalit politics because BSP has completely been decimated at the national level, even at the state level in UP. It used to receive 18 to 20% of Dalit support at pan-India level at its peak. So now there is a thought process amongst a section of Dalits whether we should look for a new alternative at the national level, which is not really present at the moment. Azad's party is still limited to UP, and it is not big in
one seat, yeah.
Also. And then there is a section of people who want to join mainstream politics because they feel that aligning with national parties will work for their welfare. And then there is also a section of Dalits which feel that parties like VBA, RPI, etc. are weakening the bargaining power of Dalits by acting as vote cutters and because they're not able to win elections on their own. So there is a significant churn which is happening. Now there are two elections, Delhi and Bihar immediately, and then of course 5 elections next year and the UP election in 2027. In Delhi, it has a very interesting impact. So let's say if Congress raises this significantly and ups the ante, what happens?
The Aam Aadmi Party loses out.
Aam Aadmi Party will lose vote share and the BJP would benefit. Now let's say BJP raises this, ups the ante, that Congress is anti-Ambedkar or anti-constitution party. What happens? Aam Aadmi Party will retain the Dalit vote base, which it has 65 to 66% of Dalit support. That will help Aam Aadmi Party again, correct? So that will not help the BJP. So Delhi, the strategy of both the parties to raise this might actually backfire for both the parties. Bihar is some months away, and I don't think this issue
will last till then, because there'll be too much water down the bridge by then. You're right. Okay, so I'm going to just take final closing comments. Sanju Verma, last 30 seconds, ma'am, to wrap up, going ahead, winter session. For us, even as political students, it was utter chaos and an embarrassment. Go ahead, ma'am. 30 seconds.
The biggest takeaway for me as a bona fide citizen is that our current generation and posterity, they need to get away from reading just Irfan Habib, Romila Thapar and Ramchandra Guha. Please read up on historians like R.C. Majumdar, Debashish Banerjee, Shekhar Bandopadhyay, Rudrangshu Mukherjee, Mridula Mukherjee, K.R. Malkani, because then you will actually get to learn the real history. नहीं तो आप पंडित नेहरू के गुणगान गाते रहोगे. If anything, Pandit Nehru was absolutely against free speech and much more. But the most important point is this. The biggest takeaway for me was this. Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi's mother and the de facto leader of the Congress party, has been the co-chairperson of FDL-AP. FDL-AP is supported by OCCRP. OCCRP is funded by Open Society Foundation. Open Society Foundation is the key body of George Soros. Why is Rahul Gandhi carrying out the George Soros agenda on the floor of India's parliament? Who is Salil Shetty?
All right.
Rahul Gandhi needs to
30
answer.
seconds are over quite a while back. 30 seconds ago. All right. Can I get in the Congress spokesperson, Mr. Singh? 30 seconds to encapsulate where you stand post the winter session.
Let me just say that we've been able to raise the issues which are important, to which people of this country want answers to. The issues concerning Mr. Adani, of course, issues concerning the Places of Worship Act, the issues concerning the farmers, and lastly, this one nation, one election. This really shows that what was being canvassed in the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, Samvidhan Badal Denge. That is still very much the agenda, and that's why जो एक शब्द है हिंदी में खीज, अंग्रेजी में translate करेंगे irritation. So this खीज came out when Mr.
One second, ma'am, he allowed you. Okay, sir, 10 seconds, please make your point.
We are an old civilization, have some respect for that.
Okay, ma'am, you've made your point. 10 seconds, sir, make your point.
So it's the fact that Constitution has now reached that stage where BJP finds it very uncomfortable to live with it. That finally it came out in the Home Minister
Ghanshyam Tiwari, 30 seconds.
This has become a national issue now.
Ghanshyam Tiwari, 30 seconds.
As the spokesperson of the third largest party in Lok Sabha and a spokesperson for India Alliance, I want to tell the viewers that we take responsibility, that many issues that we wanted to raise were not raised, as the Prime Minister could not muster courage, as BJP continued to derail parliaments by different type of tactics. But we are absolutely determined that as Parliament convenes in future, these issues will dominate. If
these issues and similar scenes will continue to play out. All right.
As parliamentarians,
fine. Amitabh Tiwari, 30 seconds, because I would reckon one would have thought when we began earlier that, right before the Constitution debate, that, the tempers will come down. There will be a de-escalation in what is such a massive trust deficit between the government and the opposition. We only saw things escalate. Do you see any climb down in the future? On mute, sir.
It is very difficult unless both sides start their start their communication channels. There is a complete lack of trust. And what is happening is that as a voter, as a Indian citizen, we are not able to see the lawmakers discuss issues of importance. Nobody discussed about pollution in Delhi or price rise, unemployment, agri-districts, etc. Political issues are being discussed in Parliament. Parliament is made a boxing match. Lawmakers have to understand that there is a difference between electoral election speeches and speeches in Parliament. And we hope that better sense would prevail.
Let's just end on that.
Yeah.
Let's just end on that. I appreciate, I'm sorry, Sanju Verma, I am terribly out of time. We're going to quickly wrap this debate. I appreciate all our panelists for coming. But, you know, as a citizen, I would reckon one message goes out. Stop wasting our time and stop wasting our money. It's not cheap paying income tax. And when you look at 2.5 lakh rupees every minute of the shenanigans and theatrics that you see on your television screen, it's an insult to the Indian taxpayer. With that, let's quickly shift focus today. Well, sobering words came in from the RSS chief Mohan Bhagwat's big message of harmony. He criticized aspiring Hindu leaders for stirring up Ram Mandir-like disputes across various places in India and called for communal harmony. Opposition welcomed in part Mohan Bhagwat's remarks, while some of them said it's a tad too late. Here's more.
Amid rising Mandir Masjid disputes, Mohan Bhagwat calls for harmony. The RSS Satsang Chalak warned aspiring Hindu leaders against stirring up disputes over places of worship across India.
राम मंदिर झालं पाहिजे ते होत आहे. हिंदूंची श्रद्धास्थान हिंदूंना वाटतं. परंतु असं केलं म्हणजे हिंदूमध्ये नेता होता येतं म्हणून किंवा अतिरेकी भूतकाळाच्या ओझ्याच्या परिणामामुळे अतिरेकी तिरस्कार, द्वेष, शत्रुता, संशय याच्या पोटी रोज एक नवीन प्रकरण काढणे हे कसं चालेल? हे नाही चालणार.
Advocating unity, Bhagwat said that the world needs to know Indians can live together.
शेवटी आपण आपलं सोल्युशन काय आहे? जगाला आपल्याला दाखवायचं आहे की आपण सगळे एकत्र नांदू शकतो. आपल्या देशात त्याचा छोटासा प्रयोग झाला पाहिजे. तो प्रयोग करताना आहेत आमच्या या सगळ्यांना सामावून घेणाऱ्या अनेक पंथ संप्रदायांच्या विचारधारा आमच्या इथे आहेत.
Samajwadi Party chief Akhilesh Yadav took a jibe on Bhagwat, calling the advice a bit too late in the day.
जब 5 लोग मर गए, न जाने कितनों पे झूठे मुकदमे लग गए, न जाने कितनों को अपमानित होना पड़ा है, घरों में पुलिस गई है, महिलाओं के साथ अपमान का व्यवहार हुआ, तब कह रहे हैं कि हर मंदिर को नहीं खोदना चाहिए.
Congress MP Shashi Tharoor, however, endorsed Bhagwat's message of peace.
अब वो बिल्कुल ठीक ही कहा. इतिहास तो इतिहास है, बहुत कुछ हुआ है 500 साल पहले. अरे 21वीं शताब्दी में हमारे आज के जनता को कौन तकलीफ दे दे इसके बुनियाद में. मेरे ख्याल में अभी हम भविष्य के बारे में सोचने का वक्त आया है.
Bhagwat's big message of unity comes ahead of a Supreme Court deadline for the Narendra Modi government to give its view on petitions challenging the Places of Worship Act that bars claims on temples and masjids and keeps the status quo as of August 15, 1947. Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, BJP MLC C.T. Ravi has got bail from the Karnataka High Court after his dramatic arrest over allegations of making derogatory comments against State Minister Lakshmi Hebbalkar. The BJP protested statewide across the arrest. The Congress, on the other hand, defended police action.
Dramatic scenes unfolded at the Suvarna Vidhan Sauda in Belgavi on Thursday evening as the Karnataka police took BJP MLC C.T. Ravi into custody for allegedly making derogatory remarks against a Karnataka woman minister. India Today has accessed the video that triggered the police action. C.T. Ravi and the Karnataka minister Lakshmi Hebbalkar can be seen arguing in this video. The Congress claims the BJP MLC accused Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha and Congress Party MP Rahul Gandhi of being a drug addict. In response, the minister called Ravi a murderer, alleging his role in a road rage case. Ravi then lashed out, allegedly calling the minister a prostitute. Later, the BJP claimed he had used the word frustrate.
अगर सदन में एक मंत्री को अगर प्रोस्टिट्यूट बोलेंगे, प्रोस्टिट्यूट करके संबोधित करेंगे, तो कौन सी महिला राजकारण में आगे आएगी? राहुल गांधी जी को इररिलेवेंट था, राहुल गांधी जी का नाम लेना ही नहीं था, राहुल गांधी जी का कुछ लेना देना ही नहीं था.
The situation got tense as the minister's supporters tried to hit the BJP MLC in the assembly building. Ravi was taken into custody when he was staging a protest along with BJP leaders and members. The BJP leader on Friday claimed his life was in danger. In a video being circulated widely, Ravi can be seen questioning the police officials. He filed an assault case against the Congress leaders who allegedly tried to attack him.
ತಾನಾಸಾಯಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ಸಾಧ್ಯ, ಸರ್ವಾಧಿಕಾರಿ ಸರ್ಕಾರದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ದಿನ ನಡೆಯೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ಲೆಕ್ಕ ಚುಕ್ತಾ ಹಾಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ.
ಆರೋಗ್ಯ ತಪಾಸಣೆ ಆಗಿದೆಯಾ ಸರ್?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್, ಯಾವ ಕಾರಣಕ್ಕೆ ಕಷ್ಟ ತಗೊಂಡಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನು ಹೇಳಿಲ್ಲ, ಎಫ್ಐಆರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿಲ್ಲ. ಮತ್ತು ಜನಪ್ರತಿನಿಧಿ ಆ ರೀತಿ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ.
Ravi also alleged physical and mental harassment by the police.
They have taken him single, and no MLC was there along with him. He was taken into secluded place also, and literally the Congress workers were also following the police vehicle. Anything could have happened.
The Congress defended the police action.
Immediately he has said that you are a prostitute. So this is the culture of the more than 10 dozen times he has said that. So this is the culture of the BJP.
The face-off between the Congress and the BJP started when the Grand Old Party staged protests against Union Home Minister Amit Shah over his statement that the Congress claimed insulted Baba Saheb Ambedkar. With Sagai Raj, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, tragic news coming in from Rajasthan, Jaipur, where at least 11 have been killed as a chemical-laden truck crashed at a Jaipur fuel pump. A massive blaze, flames engulfing a petrol pump in Jaipur's Bankorthra after a CNG truck collided with a truck carrying LPG. 11 people were charred to death and over 40 have sustained severe burns.
A shocking tragedy in Jaipur after two trucks collided near a fuel pump. The video on your screen showing the deadly damage due to the crash as waves of flames engulf the fuel pump. What led to this extent of a blaze was that the two trucks that collided were a CNG and an LPG-filled truck.
This LPG tanker collided with a CNG truck. You can see how drastic the collision was. The fire which erupted because of this collision spread in an area of several meters. You can see the factory on my left hand side which got engulfed because of the fire. There are several other vehicles which also got engulfed due to the fire. There are several fire ambulances also in this area which have been passing from here. Right now the situation is quite fluid out here.
Several dead, over 40 injured as those in the fuel pump and vehicles parked close by bore the brunt. Some lived to tell the tale. Nothing short of a miracle that they survived this place.
मैंने देखा, मैं जब ड्यूटी आ रहा था बाइक से तो एकदम से धमाके हुए और एकदम से आग लग गई. आग लग के जैसे धुआं का गुब्बार उठा ना वैसे उठा. इतने में गाड़ियां आपस में भिड़ती रही.
ये इस पानी में लाई लग गई थी. सामने एक नायरा का पंप है, उस पर लाई लग गई. वो खेड़े मतलब आग पकड़ ली थी. फिर हमने यहाँ पर आग पर काबू पाया सिलेंडरों से. हमारी जहाँ तक दृष्टि गई थी वहाँ तक तो खेड़े में आग दिख रही थी हमें तो.
Even as Prime Minister Modi has announced ex gratia of 2 lakhs for the kin of the deceased and 50,000 for those injured, the Rajasthan Chief Minister Bhajan Lal Sharma visited those who were injured in the fire.
इस घटना में ताउत हुए उनको मैं संवेदनाएं प्रकट करता हूं और मैं हॉस्पिटल जाकर के भी आया हूं। घटना के लिए जो भी होगा हम जांच भी करेंगे, उनके इलाज भी करेंगे, जो उचित उनको सहयोग करना है वो भी करेंगे।
जब से सुना है हमने तो बहुत ही तकलीफ हो रही है मन के अंदर। मैं समझता हूँ कि जो जिनकी मृत्यु होगी तो ईश्वर को प्रार्थना कर सकते हैं जहाँ शांति के लिए, उन परिवार वालों के लिए, पर जो लोग घायल भी है वो जल्दी तंदुरुस्त हो, उनका स्वास्थ्य ठीक रहे।
An unprecedented mishap in Jaipur that snuffed out so many lives, videos of which has left the nation numb. With Devankur in Jaipur, Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's get you our image of the day, and we're going to go into a quick break right after this story. We hope you have a fabulous weekend ahead, but do watch this, where Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar shared a video showcasing the impressive bowling action of Sushila Meena, a young talent from rural Rajasthan. The 10-year-old bowling action reminded Tendulkar of legendary Indian pacer Zaheer Khan's style. Take a look at this report. Thank you for watching. We see you Monday. Have a great weekend.
Bowling action near identical to Zaheer Khan was spotted by none other than Sachin Tendulkar. The Indian legend shared the video of Sushila Meena's bowling with a former teammate, describing the action as smooth, effortless and lovely to watch. Sushila, who lives in a small village in Pratapgarh district of Rajasthan, has taken the internet by storm, getting 90 million views in 2 days on Instagram. Her parents, Ratan Lal Meena and Shantibai Meena, are farm workers. The Class 5 student dreams of playing cricket on a big stage one day. With Sanjay Jain, Bureau Report, India Today.